time lapsed by a few years again, and I happened to get this international job opportunity in Indonesia. In the middle of the term, I fall sick. I'm in a foreign country, and I happen to fall sick. So sick that it had me bedridden. Back in 2003, arthritis was not as common as it is today. So I was been shown to a lot of doctors, number of doctors there, and they were just not able to diagnose what it was, because arthritis was not as common back then. I remember having unbearable pain in virtually every part of my body. My neck was locked. My spine was locked. I had back spasms. My wrist was deeply in pain, and I could not function with my wrist. My knee would give me jitters. I was having shooting pain in the knee. My ankle were just not able to take my weight. I was absolutely bedridden. That was the time when I would just think, lying on the bed, how would life be without pain? The pain was so unbearable that I had to take the aids of crutches and the wheelchairs. I remember visiting one of the doctors and asking him, "Doctor, what am I going through? And will there ever be a time in my life where I will be able to walk painlessly and on my own feet?" To that, the doctor simply says, "You're asking me the questions that I don't have an answer for." Believe me, friends, I just burst out in tears. Because here was this guy who had a normal birth, so-called normal birth, and who was doing his music, and now he is in a situation where there is an uncertainty about the future. I had no clue what to do with my life. The doctors, I didn't have right support from the doctors, and that was just about it. I was very good in sports in my younger days. I used to have medals in swimming. I was good at badminton. I was good at cricket. So basically, I was a very good athlete. And now all of that sports is just confined to video games, right? Because I can just do nothing with my life. When I say bedridden, I was literally bedridden. Now the time comes. I can never forget the day, 3rd of September, 2003, because that day actually changed my life completely for good. I mean, that was one day when there was virtually nothing working in my body. I was absolutely bedridden, and I was losing my consciousness every now and then. All I can remember is my family members, like my family friends. I could just see them weeping. All of this is happening away from your home in a foreign country, and when my parents were not aware of what I was going through. So this is one thing that was bothering me a lot. I was thinking, if something goes wrong with me, my parents would not even come to know what I went through. I started thinking that if there is something called death, probably the next scene that I'm going to witness is what people call death. It was almost a near-to-death experience that I was going through. But I had this burning desire to live. I rose my spirits up. This is all happening. Try to visualize this being in my condition at that moment when you're just losing it all and you are thinking that you are not going to last the next morning. This is when I had this very interesting conversation with God. And this actually became the conversation of my life. I said, God, it looks very clear that probably my time is up and I am supposed to leave this body, and probably you will be giving me the next birth. You know, I'm a firm believer in reincarnation, so I would like to believe that there is something called rebirth, and I would be leaving this body and I would be going into another one. But I have done that several times, even in my previous birth, right? How would it be to live a life once again, being in the same body? How will it be to be with my parents once again? How wonderful will it be to unite with my family, my friends, and the existing bunch of people? I had a deal with God. I said, let's just have a deal between us. Whatever you want to do with me, do it once I'm back in my own country. Whatever happens to me, it's not happening here. Please somehow take me back to my own country. Let me land back in the country. And I just want one day to live. I'm not asking for anything else. I was so shattered in pain, so shattered that the life actually became really miserable because I could not be in that state of being bedridden for that long. I said, I want only one day to live. Is that too much to ask for? All I need is 24 hours to live. And while I was going through all that pain, I was designing in my mind, I was trying to visualize and imagine as to what are the things that I would be doing in those 24 hours, if at all I get a chance to. I started thinking of, I would get up at 5 in the morning, I'm going to do my meditation practice, I would want to go for my jogging, I would do my workouts, come back home, have breakfast with my family. I want to go for my recordings. I would not want to take my car, but I would want to go in those stinky, smelly trains that we Mumbaikars actually really love to hate. You know, I want to take the bus. I want to take the train. Why? Because it has become a fantasy for you. While we are in the normal state of health, we do not realize these small things. We crib about the petty things around our life. We crib about, why do I not have this? Why do I not have that? Why there is so much of bloody traffic? Why things can't be right? Why do I have so much of queue? Why do India has so much of dust? The list can just go on, and it's very subjective. I was visualizing all these things. How would I want to use those 24 hours of my life? And that's when I was thinking that I was not really asking for heaven. I was not asking for too much. I was asking for basic things of my life. I would want to go in that bus. I want to go to that recording. And that recording would also be nothing flashy. I just wanted to play a meager role in that recording, finish my job, do some nice tunes, come back home, again in the same mode of transport, and I'm literally visualizing all this. How would it be to catch a train running? Why running? Why was I visualizing that I would want to run and catch the bus? Why? Because I was bedridden. It was a task for me to get up and walk till the toilet. That's when I thought that these are the small pleasures of life. These are the small things of life. And it's not about the big things of life. It's all those small things been put together. That's what actually comprises of life. I wanted to come back home in the evening, meet with my friends and folks, have dinner with my family, exchange some good notes as to what happened in the day, This is all imaginary thinking, okay? This is all what I'm fantasizing, what I'm going to do in 24 hours of my life. I'll come back home, have dinner, have good chats, and God, the very night, you can take me away. And let's just have this serious deal. And I'm not even kidding about this. Because I just wanted that one day without any pain in my body. For many of us, we might be going through some of the other ailments. We might be having some of the other pains somewhere. But what I was going through, it was something really at a next level. So it became a dream for me to live one day, one set of 24 hours. Believe me, I went back to sleep somehow. And the next thing that I know is I get up a little fresher the next morning. I gain some sort of consciousness. I started getting better. Doctors treated me well back then. And I was coming back. I was bouncing back. And I was trying to recall what was that all about that I went through in the night. It so happened that after a week's time, I get this opportunity to fly back to India again. I land into my country, and the first thing that I see, my parents waiting for me at the airport. And it was like a dream come true. I had wet eyes because I know it was probably not ever going to be possible for me to do that. My parents received me. I hugged them. I hugged my niece. She was 2 years back then. And those were the pleasures of life. Even today, every single day without fail, I still live in that balloon that this probably is the last day of my life. Because I asked God for only one day to live, and He gave me my entire life back, right? I asked for one day, and it's been almost 12, 13 years now. So coming back to the story, that life is not all about the bigger achievements, the bigger things. It's all about what you can do with what you have right now. Because what you have right now is also someone else's dream, right? We've all got only one life to live. To project this particular scene of my life, I would like to play a track. The videos that you're seeing right now, these are the videos that I've done the covers of on my channel, which you can always go back and listen to. These are the video covers that I've done. Well, coming back to the happier times, life is much more easier now, life is much more beautiful now, not because they are naturally that way, just because it's right here. Not that I don't have any more problems anymore, not that I'm not going through my arthritis episodes even now. Everything is right there. But the realization that it's going to be a part of my life, the acceptance of it is what is making the difference. That I have got only one life to live, and what I'm going to make out of it is completely my responsibility. So the acceptance is making the life a lot more easier. It's far more better now because I don't get scared to take challenges now. Earlier, it used to be the case that I would always be scared to take challenges. I was an introvert, basically, so it's a big deal for me when I'm standing here and talking to 200 people out here. It's actually a big deal for me. So life is a lot more comfortable now, and good things started happening with my music. I respect my music all the more today because having gone through whatever I did, it was a big question mark whether or not I will ever be able to play this beautiful instrument again. With a wrist like that, with a neck like that, it's just impossible to play this instrument.